Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into how to simplify your home and life. Think of it as a shortcut.
Right. We've gone through a listener's notes on a really great book, Simplify 7 Guiding Principles to help anyone declutter their home and life.
And our mission here is basically to pull out the absolute key takeaways, the real gems, to give you a clear path to, well, less clutter.
It all kicks off with the author's own story, Joshua Becker. It was Memorial Day weekend, 2008.
Okay.
He's out there, standard suburban dad moment, wrestling with cleaning the garage, just this huge task.
Oh, I know that feeling, the weekend garage battle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He and his wife had blocked out the whole 3-day weekend for a massive house cleanout. Because, that's just what families do, right?
Sounds pretty draining, honestly, and very familiar.
So he's like 4 hours into this garage thing, clearly frustrated, covered in dust, probably. And his neighbor, who's also doing some weekend yard work, kind of sees him struggling. And the neighbor says something like, the joys of home ownership, that kind of comment.
Right, the standard line.
And Joshua fires back with, yeah, well, the more stuff you own, the more your stuff owns you. Classic, right?
Totally. We've all felt that.
But then the neighbor says something that just changes everything. He goes, that's why my daughter's a minimalist. She keeps telling me I don't need all this stuff.
Minimalist, huh? A term he hadn't heard.
Never encountered it, but it clicked instantly. And when he told his wife, same reaction, just immediate, like, yes, that's it.
Wow. So garage still half finished, I assume?
Oh, yeah. He goes inside, totally forgets the garage for a bit, and just starts researching, looking up this whole idea.
A lifestyle focused on just the essentials, removing clutter.
Exactly that. And the more he read, the more he felt, this is it. This is what I want for us, for the family.
So looking back, maybe a couple of years later, he could really pinpoint why it felt like such an easy, obvious choice then.
Yeah, he lists a few key things, like being sick of using vacation days just to clean and manage stuff.
Yeah. That's the worst use of time off.
Right. And realizing that relationships and, character mean way more than possessions.
Makes sense.
Plus, he liked the look of a clean home but hated the constant cleaning. Minimalism seemed like the perfect solution.
A practical fix.
Yeah, and he also mentions appreciating minimalist design, finding it easier to have friends over when the house is just naturally tidy. Oh, and he clarifies he's frugal, not cheap. Important distinction for him.
Okay. Frugal, not cheap. Got it.
And another big motivator that came up later was wanting to inspire others, which led to his blog, Becoming Minimalist.
Yeah.
Huge reach now.
Hundreds of thousands, you said. Wow.
Yeah, globally. And he shares it all with this core belief. If his regular suburban family of 4 could do it, anyone can. You can.
That's a really hopeful message. And it sets up these 7 guiding principles perfectly, doesn't it? This isn't just about tidying up. It's about fundamentally shifting your relationship with everything you own.
And it absolutely has to start with the first principle. Be convinced.
Okay, principle 1. Be convinced. Why is that the starting point?
Because it's the foundation. Nothing else really sticks unless you are genuinely deeply convinced that this simpler life is worth the effort.
So it's an internal thing first?
Totally. The author puts it really well. Our actions follow what our heart truly desires, what we really believe in, what we love deep down, that dictates how we live.
Without that core conviction, you just slide back into old habits.
Exactly. You'll tidy up, maybe feel good for a week, but then the clutter creeps back in because the underlying belief hasn't shifted.
So for someone who's maybe struggled with this for years, how do they build that conviction? Is it seeing other people succeed or facing their own clutter costs?
It's probably a mix, but the book really zeroes in on understanding the benefits. When you truly grasp the advantages, that's what makes the conviction solid.
Okay, let's talk benefits then. The sources mention less stress. How does that work?
Well, Leo Babauta talks about clutter as visual distraction, but it's deeper than that. Studies actually back this up. Cluttered spaces increase our cognitive load.
Cognitive load. So it actually makes our brains work harder, even if we're not consciously thinking about the mess?
Precisely. It drains mental energy. So a minimalist home isn't just feeling calmer. It's actively freeing up brain space for, better focus, more presence.
That's huge. And it ties into freedom too, right? The author felt strangled by clutter.
Yeah, he uses that exact word after minimalizing his office. No more piles of unread books staring at him. No stacks of paper demanding attention. He said it wasn't just a feeling. It became his reality. Changed his whole workday.
I can imagine. That sounds incredibly liberating. Which leads right into productivity, I guess.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Think about how much time our stuff eats up. Cleaning it, organizing it, buying it, researching it, selling it.
Right.
The book mentions a stat: the average American spends nearly 12 hours every single month just shopping.
12 hours a month. Wow. Just imagine getting that time back. What could you do? What could you experience?
It's a big chunk of life, isn't it? And here's one benefit that really hits home, maybe a bit unexpectedly: less work for someone else.
Less work for someone else. What does that mean?
It means thinking about who deals with our stuff when we can't anymore. The author gives these really poignant examples. His own mom sorting through his grandparents' things after they passed.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
A friend managing an estate sale for someone moving into assisted living. Him helping a family move after living somewhere for 45 years. In every case, it wasn't the owner sorting through decades of accumulation. It was someone else, a loved one, usually.
That really reframes things, doesn't it? Every single thing we keep, eventually someone else has to decide what to do with it. That's a heavy thought. Puts the burden on others.
It really does. But okay, shifting gears slightly, there's a surprising upside to owning less. You can actually own higher quality things.
Wait, how does that work? Fewer things equals nicer things.
Yeah. Seems counterintuitive at first. Even the author admitted he didn't connect those dots initially. But think about your wardrobe. Instead of, say, 25 okay-ish shirts you only kind of like, you could have maybe 10 really high-quality shirts that you absolutely love, that fit perfectly, that make you feel great.
Okay, I see. Quality over quantity.
Exactly. He has this great line: more is not better. Better is better. It's about shifting from just accumulating volume to valuing true quality and enjoyment.
Better is better. I like that. Okay, so that conviction, that why, is absolutely step one. But minimalism isn't one size fits all, right? Which takes us to principle number 2.
Right. Principle 2, make it work for you.
Yeah.
This is crucial because it tackles those common stereotypes.
Like thinking minimalism means empty rooms and, I don't know, eating off the floor.
Pretty much. People picture total deprivation, bare walls. But the author talks about rational minimalism. It's not about extreme self-denial.
Rational minimalism. Okay.
Yeah. His own home, he points out, still has a TV, comfy couches, books. His kids have toys scattered around sometimes. It's normal life, just intentional.
So the goal isn't some impossible standard. It's finding what rational minimalism looks like for your specific life. Family size, hobbies, where you live, all that matters.
Absolutely. It demands self-reflection. You have to figure out what works for you. There's give and take, especially if you live with others, and you have to be humble enough to let it evolve as your life changes. It's not a fixed endpoint.
So how do you start figuring out your own version? Is there a process?
It's an ongoing conversation, really, with yourself, with your family. But the author and his family did define their style across 5 key areas, which might help people think about it.
Okay, what are those 5?
First, and this is the core, intentionally promote what they value most. Figure out what truly matters. Family time, creativity, faith, whatever it is, and remove anything that distracts from that.
So it starts with your values.
Yeah.
Makes sense. What's second?
Second, remove all clutter. They started with physical stuff, obviously, but then realized clutter exists in other forms too. Emotional clutter, relational stuff, even spiritual clutter. So it's a broader commitment.
Interesting. Beyond just the physical. Okay, third.
Third, they decorate in a minimalist style. Not empty, but intentional. Keeping only pieces that are really meaningful, things they love that add beauty or significance to their lives. Makes the space feel clean, modern, beautiful, he says.
So curated rather than barren. Fourth.
Fourth is about money, using it consciously for things more valuable than just buying more possessions.
Wow.
Breaking free from that consumer cycle, that feeling that, Madison Avenue dictates what we should want.
Reclaiming financial choice. I like that. And the fifth aspect.
Fifth, they aim to live a countercultural life that's attractive to others. He mentioned seeing some extreme minimalists like people with only 100 items or living totally off-grid. Their goal isn't that. It's a rational approach that fits their suburban life. One that might actually invite others to consider simplifying, rather than seeming so radical it pushes people away.
Finding that balance, making it relatable, not intimidating.
Exactly. It's about finding the style that truly frees you, not one that just imposes another set of rigid rules. And you don't need it all figured out perfectly before you start.
Which is a perfect lead-in to principle number 3. Jump right in. This is where the action starts, right? Getting practical.
Totally. Think about marathon training. You don't run 26 miles on day 1.
No way. You'd collapse.
Right. You start small. A short run, then a bit longer. Decluttering is the same. Don't try to do the whole house at once. Start with one small, manageable job. A drawer, a shelf, maybe your car.
Build momentum.
Exactly. He mentions a debt counselor's advice. Pay off the smallest debts first. Why? Quick wins. Victory breeds victory.
Ah, the snowball effect.
Same idea. Declutter your office desk, and suddenly you feel so good, so motivated, you want to tackle the closet next. The author said after doing his office, he couldn't stand even one piece of paper left out overnight. It just felt wrong. That small win changed his daily habit.
Okay, so how do you actually do it? The process for a space.
There's a pretty universal three-step method he outlines. First, take everything out of the space. Everything. Touch every item.
Get it all out in the open. Why is touching important?
It forces a conscious decision about each thing. Step 2. Sort every item into 3 piles or boxes. Keep, move, or discard.
Keep, move, discard. Simple enough.
And step 3, put the keep items back, but organized. Immediately take the move items to where they actually belong in the house and deal with the discard pile right away. Sell, donate, recycle, trash. Don't let it linger.
Get it out of the house. Crucial step. So what counts as clutter then? How do you define it?
He gives a practical definition. Anything disorganized, anything you don't truly need or absolutely love, or just too much stuff crammed into too small a space.
Like overflowing shelves or drawers you can barely close.
Exactly. Their family motto became, everything has a home. If something doesn't have a designated spot where it belongs, maybe it doesn't belong in your home.
Everything has a home. That's a good rule.
And this brings up a really important distinction he learned. Minimalizing versus just leveling.
Leveling? What's that?
A friend pointed this out to him. Leveling is when you just move stuff out of sight, shoving it into the basement, the attic, a storage unit. It looks tidier on the surface.
But you haven't actually dealt with the root problem. You still own too much stuff.
Bingo.
Yeah.
True minimalizing means actually addressing the volume of possessions and letting go of the excess, not just hiding it.
Makes total sense. Okay, the sources also had some smart tips for specific areas, right? Like the wardrobe.
Oh yeah, the hanger experiment. This one's clever. Turn all the hangers in your closet backward.
Okay.
Then, as you wear something, put the hanger back normally. After, say, 2 or 3 months, maybe 6, look at the hanger still facing backward.
The clothes you haven't worn.
Exactly. Time to seriously consider donating them. It's a visual way to see what you actually use.
Yeah.
Because most of us wear, 20% of our clothes 80% of the time.
That sounds about right. Okay, what about toy rooms? Always a challenge?
Yeah, involve the kids if possible. It's tough but important. Reinforce the home for everything idea so cleanup is easier. And really focus on quality over quantity when new toys come in. Fewer, better toys.
Good advice. And storage rooms? The land of forgotten things?
Right. If you're a nervous purger, worried you might need something someday.
Yes. That's many of us.
Try this.
Yeah.
Put those maybe items in a clearly marked box. Put a date on it. If you haven't opened that box to get something out in, say, 3 or 4 months, maybe even 6, you probably don't need what's inside permanently.
Yeah.
Let it go.
That's a good safety net for the nervous purger. Take some anxiety away. Okay, so you've done the sorting, you have the discard pile. Where does it all go?
Several options. You can try to turn it into cash garage sales, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. Always nice to make a little money back.
Yeah.
You can help others. Donate to places like Goodwill, Salvation Army, local shelters, maybe specific programs like those for refugees or pregnancy centers. Match the items to the need if you can.
Good point.
And of course, recycle what you can, and the rest, unfortunately, might just be trash.
Yeah.
The main goal is getting it out of your space in your life.
Right. Out it goes. Which leads us nicely into principle number 4, stop the trend. This sounds like it's about preventing the clutter from coming back in.
Exactly. It's about addressing the inflow. This principle dives into consumerism and how we can consciously break free from its grip.
Okay, how does he illustrate this?
He tells this great little story. He's at the toy store with his son, who's supposed to be getting a skateboard.
Mm-hmm.
But his son gets totally fixated on this, ridiculous pop-up dinosaur cave thing, clearly a junky toy.
Yeah, yes, the lure of the shiny new, ultimately useless object.
Totally. And as the dad, he steps in, guides his son back to the skateboard, preventing what he saw as a foolish purchase.
Mm-hmm.
The daddy roll, he calls it. And that experience made him reflect. He asked this really powerful question for himself and for us. Who do I have in my life that keeps me from making foolish decisions with my money?
Wow, that's a searching question. Who's our financial daddy role? Who holds us accountable?
It's about influence and wisdom, right?
Oh.
And it connects to a broader point he makes. Possessions don't automatically equal joy.
How so?
He talks about trips he's taken to developing countries, seeing people with very, very little materially, but who possess incredible joy, strong community bonds, deep contentment.
A stark contrast to consumer culture sometimes.
Right. He points out that America, despite its abundance, ranks #1 globally in depression rates. It really challenges that ingrained cultural script that says more stuff equals more happiness.
It really does. And we often forget the true cost of our stuff, don't we? Beyond the price tag.
Absolutely. The hidden costs are huge. Did you know the book says 1 in 11 American households pays over $1,000 a year just for self-storage?
$1,000
Yeah.
just to store stuff they don't have room for. Wow.
Yeah. And it costs money, about $10 per square foot on average, just to store things in your own home. That space has value.
We don't think about it that way.
And maybe the most shocking stat. The National Association of Professional Organizers estimates we spend a full year of our lives just looking for lost items.
A whole year searching for keys, phones, papers. That's unbelievable. What a waste of life.
It's staggering, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that doesn't even count things like the electricity used by devices on standby or late fees on bills you lost in a pile somewhere. It all adds up.
So the book talks about consumerism itself as an economic idea.
Yeah, and it tries to be pretty impartial about it. It lays out the theory. Advantages, well, it drives consumer choice, fuels economic growth, potentially motivates people to work harder to improve their standing.
Okay, the standard arguments for it.
But then the disadvantages. Consumerism often benefits producers most when consumers feel perpetually unfulfilled, always needing the next thing.
Right, like planned obsolescence, where things are designed to break or become outdated.
Exactly. That's a key mechanism. It pushes constant repurchasing over durability. It can also narrow our focus, making money seem like the ultimate goal, ignoring environmental impacts, and worsening gaps between rich and poor.
The point isn't to bash it or praise it, but just to understand how it works.
Precisely. Understanding the system empowers you to make more conscious choices within it.
So how do we make wiser choices financially then? The book suggests a spending plan.
Yeah, he prefers spending plan over budget. Says it feels more flexible, less restrictive, puts you in control.
Okay, how does a spending plan work?
Pretty simple, really. Figure out your monthly take-home pay, your net income, then list all your fixed, necessary monthly costs, mortgage or rent, charity, groceries, utilities, insurance, car payments, whatever applies to you.
The essentials.
Right. Subtract those fixed costs from your net income. What's left is your discretionary income. That's the money you actually have freedom to choose how to spend each month.
Ah, okay. So it gives you a clear picture of your real spending power.
Exactly. It's not just about numbers. It creates a healthy framework. It helps you see how your lifestyle choices impact your finances and how things like inflation or a pay rise change your actual spending ability. It's about being proactive, intentional.
Being aware. That makes a lot of sense.
And the final thought under this principle is really profound. It's a quote, essentially. Fix your eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. For what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal.
Wow. Heavy. How does he connect that to simplifying?
He uses a couple of analogies. Like tax day, you might look at your total income and kind of cringe, but then you look at your charitable donations and feel good, right? Or think about being on your deathbed. He argues at that point, nobody cares how many hours they work or how big their bank account was. What matters then?
Time with loved ones, the impact you had, your legacy, the unseen things.
Exactly. The relationships, the memories, the difference you made, those are the eternal things. It's about shifting your focus, living for what truly lasts, because as he says, you only get one shot at this life.
Powerful reminder. Live for the unseen. Okay, so that conviction and purpose really fuel the journey. But the initial rush wears off, right? Which brings us to principle number 5. Persevere.
Yes, this is acknowledging the reality. Decluttering can be exciting at first. You see results fast. But cheaping it that way, that's the long game. That requires perseverance.
Like maintaining weight loss after the initial diet.
Great analogy. He uses an example of his friend Cheryl, who was aiming for a diving scholarship in college. That single goal shaped everything for her diet, her sleep, her social life, how she spent every hour.
Total focus.
Total focus. But when the goal wasn't achieved, that driving force vanished, and her life completely changed. It shows how goals propel us, but what happens after? You need sustained internal motivation. Perseverance.
It's about maintaining that clutter-free state indefinitely, not just achieving it once. So what are the practical tips for persevering?
Okay, some good strategies here. First, identify your personal clutter collection sites. Those spots where stuff just seems to magically accumulate.
Oh, yeah. The kitchen counter, the top of the dresser, the entryway table.
Exactly. Everyone has them. Once you know your hotspots, you can set up clutter busters. Maybe a designated inbox for mail instead of the counter, a specific junk drawer that gets cleaned out regularly. But more than gadgets, it's about changing the habits that feed those spots.
Like immediately putting things away instead of dumping them.
That's the core of it.
Yeah.
Breaking that "I'll deal with it later" habit. Another really concrete tip. Tackle junk mail.
Ugh, the endless flood.
You can actually cut it down by 75–85%, apparently. Register online with dmchoice.org, that's the Direct Marketing Association, and optoutprescreen.com for credit offers. Plus, call specific companies and ask to be removed from their lists. It takes some effort up front, but it pays off.
Worth doing. What about persevering with kids and toys? An ongoing battle.
Yeah, same principles apply, just consistently. Keep identifying the toys they actually play with. Purge regularly, especially when new stuff comes in, birthdays, holidays. And hammer home that everything has a home rule. Teach them quality over quantity.
And speaking of holidays, gifts. That can undo a lot of hard work, right?
For sure. The author talks about his first Christmas after minimalizing the house, got recluttered fast.
Oh, no.
His solution now: let people enjoy giving, but guide them. Provide wish lists with things you genuinely need or truly high-quality items you'd love.
Be specific.
Right. And then, after the gift-giving frenzy settles down, take stock. Reevaluate the new items. Decide what truly adds value and what could perhaps be graciously regifted or donated later.
A post-holiday sort out. Smart. Any broader tips for perseverance?
Yeah, some more philosophical ones. Buy things for their usefulness, not to impress people or keep up with trends. Be honest about addictions, whether it's shopping, gadgets, social media, and actively reject them. Cultivate a habit of giving things away regularly. Don't get sucked into needing the latest gadget. Technology often complicates life more than it simplifies.
That's counterintuitive, but probably true.
And maybe the biggest one: learn to enjoy things without needing to own them. Use the library, visit parks and museums, borrow tools. He has another great line: ownership is nothing, access is everything.
Ownership is nothing. Access is everything. That's a really powerful shift in thinking. It challenges the whole foundation of consumerism, really. Okay, so you've decluttered, you're persevering. Now what? Principle 6, share the joy.
Yeah, this one's about the outward ripple effect. The author finds that the idea of minimalism is surprisingly attractive to most people. When he shares his story, people often recognize that same desire in themselves, even if they hadn't put a name to it.
It resonates, like there's this underlying sense that maybe life is meant to be simpler.
Exactly. He feels it's about getting back to basics, enjoying experiences, people, the journey itself, rather than just accumulating stuff. It's an inviting idea.
And joy grows when you share it, right? Like telling people you're engaged or had a baby.
Precisely. Sharing your simplifying journey does the same thing. People get curious, they might get inspired, they cheer you on. It can even create a little support system, holding you accountable in a positive way.
Building community around it. The sources shared some reader stories, too.
Yeah, two really good ones that show how different the path can look. First, there's Christine, 26, an insurance agent.
Okay.
She had this insight looking at her clients. She saw how their drive to accumulate was actually creating enormous stress in their lives.
Wow, seeing it from the outside like that.
Yeah. And it made her look at her own life. She radically simplified her apartment, basically stopped recreational shopping, and just felt liberated, less consumed by consumerism.
Amazing. And the other story, Christy.
Christy's journey started with, believe it or not, feeling embarrassed about her house one Halloween. It was cluttered, and she didn't want people seeing it like that.
A common trigger, I bet.
Probably. She had this lovely old Victorian home, but realized she was just cramming it with things instead of filling it with people and things she truly loved. The big shift for her was recognizing all the out-of-sight, out-of-mind stuff she was holding on to, stuff that still weighed her down mentally.
The hidden burden again. What changed in her thinking?
She developed these critical questions she asks herself before getting anything new. Will I really use this? Does it mean more to someone I love to have it? Like maybe passing on an heirloom? And the big one: just because I can buy something doesn't mean I have to.
Just because I can doesn't mean I have to. That cuts right through impulse buying, doesn't it? A fundamental shift.
Totally. It's about reclaiming agency over your consumption.
Those stories really show the power of this. It's not just tidiness, it's freedom, intentionality. Okay, so once the house is under control, the impulse is to look broader, right?
Mhm.
Which takes us to the final principle, number 7. Simplify everywhere.
Exactly. You've tackled the physical clutter, and the natural next question is, okay, where else is there clutter in my life? Where else can I remove distractions and focus on what's essential?
So, applying the same principles to non-physical areas. Like what?
Like your time, your schedule. He brings up Stephen Covey's classic big rocks illustration.
Ah, yes, the jar demonstration. I remember that.
Right, you have a jar. If you put the big rocks in first, those represent the truly important things.
Yeah.
Your family, your health, your core values, your big goals. Then you can pour in the gravel, smaller tasks, the sand, minor stuff, and even water. And it all fits. But if you put the sand and water in first...
The gig rocks won't fit. No room left.
Exactly. That's a perfect metaphor for prioritizing. If you don't intentionally schedule your big rocks, the urgent but less important stuff will always fill up your time.
Which connects to that idea of the tyranny of the urgent, right?
Perfectly. Charles Hummel wrote about this way back in 1967, how urgent things demands from work, other people's requests, even our own compulsions always seem to shout louder than the truly important things.
Like date night or time for reflection or exercise.
Yeah. Those things rarely demand immediate attention. They wait quietly.
Yeah.
But if you neglect them long enough because you're always putting out urgent fires, eventually the important things can explode into crises. A neglected relationship fails, health suffers.
And it's even worse now with technology, probably. Constant notifications, multitasking.
Absolutely. Modern studies show all that multitasking actually makes us less productive, more distracted. So simplifying here means consciously pushing back against the tyranny of the urgent to make space for what truly matters.
Okay, what else can be simplified? He mentioned TV.
Yeah, a specific experiment his family did. They downgraded their cable package drastically down to just 13 basic channels.
13 channels, that's minimal. What happened?
A year later, they loved it. They reported playing more board games, taking more family walks, reading more, spending more time with friends.
Sounds pretty good.
And he even cheekily adds more sex to the list.
Okay, noted. Any other unexpected benefits?
Yes. He said they found themselves having more appreciation for both political parties.
Oh, really? How?
His theory was less exposure to the constant barrage of partisan news channels allowed for more balanced perspective, less echo chamber effect.
Fascinating. Simplifying media intake had political side effects. Okay, one last area. The computer. Digital clutter.
Big one. Just as draining as physical clutter. Some practical tips. Aim to clear your email inbox, daily process, don't just store. Uninstall software you never use. Use folders diligently to organize files. Hide desktop icons maybe, reduce the visual noise, and be intentional about limiting time on social media. Small digital hygiene habits.
Digital hygiene. I like that term. It all adds up to more mental clarity.
Definitely. So wrapping it all up, this whole deep dive, these principles, it's really an invitation, isn't it?
An invitation to.
To embrace that simpler life that maybe quietly has been calling out to you. It's about consciously choosing what you value, not what ads tell you to value. It's about removing the stuff, the distractions, the noise that keeps you from truly living.
And sometimes the life we're chasing is already here. We just don't see it. Like that story, the fisherman and the businessman.
Oh, it's such a perfect closing story. You have this wealthy businessman on vacation, sees a local fisherman relaxing by his boat, just enjoying the day after catching a few fish. The businessman, thinking in terms of efficiency and growth, starts telling the fisherman how he could work longer hours, buy bigger nets, get more boats, hire people, build an empire.
Okay, the whole 9 yards.
Right. Work relentlessly for years and years. And the fisherman keeps asking, okay, and then what will I do? What's the reward?
Yeah.
And the businessman finally says, well, then you'll be rich. You can retire, move to a little coastal village, sleep late, fish a little, play with your grandkids, enjoy siestas, stroll into the village in the evenings, sip wine, play guitar with your friends.
Then the fisherman.
The fisherman just smiles gently and asks, and what do you think I am doing right now?
Whew. Hits hard, doesn't it? The life he was working towards. The fisherman already had it. We might already have it.
Exactly. That contentment, that simple joy, it might be right under our noses, just buried under all the complexity we've added.
So the final thought for everyone listening, maybe think about that. What beach are you already sitting on, perhaps without fully realizing it or appreciating it?
Yeah. Beyond the physical stuff, what are those unseen parts of your life, the relationships, the experiences, the peace that are truly the most important? And how can you focus your energy right there, right now?